conservative new media viewers and JLin fans around the world. What is up? It's me, PFE, Paul Millsap, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss the news that has just come out today on Friday, November 29, 2013, here in the United States. And that is that JLin reportedly will miss 2 weeks at least with a knee sprain. Now, we will put information about this story in the video description below the video player so you can go and check it out. A knee sprain, to my understanding, is an injury to a ligament or ligaments in the knee. So apparently on the play in which Jeremy hit knees with Paul Millsap of the Atlanta Hawks, not only did he suffer a apparent bruise to the knee, but also one of the ligaments, at least, was damaged slightly, a little bit torn because of the impact. Now, look, this is really bad timing, unfortunately, as we know, because Jeremy's off to a great start this year. And this puts a hold on that. Unfortunately, this is going to stir the doubters. And I don't really want to talk about this. I don't want to be negative about this, but it needs to be talked about because it's going to come up. So we should just discuss it so that you guys understand what's going to happen now. Okay, a couple of things are going to happen now. Number one, people that don't want JLin to succeed are going to hope that the team does well without him, just so they can say that the team doesn't need him, etc. Number two, doubters are going to say that JLin is injury prone. You will hear that. And they will point to the knee injury in New York and the chest contusion in the playoffs last year. And so you will hear the line that Jeremy has been hurt every year. So just prepare yourselves for that. That will happen. Number three, people that don't want JLin to succeed will hope that he's out for a bit. And I hate to say it that way, but that's just what it is. And they'll hope that when he comes back, that he's not playing at the same level that he was playing before the injury. Because then that would let them say that the start was a fluke to this season. So this is why the timing is unfortunate of this. If Jeremy had about another 15 games, which is what he's played this season, playing at this level, then you can't say it's a fluke. And it's not a fluke. I mean, we know it's not a fluke. But I know there was a recent Bleacher Report article saying that this start was a fluke, which of course sounds a lot like Linsanity was a fluke. So if you guys follow me on Twitter, follow us on Twitter, you know that I just discussed the Fran Blindberry article, which I thought was ridiculous, about Jeremy. And this just came out the other day. And I ran across it only because I went to NBA.com to get video highlights information for the Atlanta game. And I saw this article, and it was just another unfortunate article. It took shots at Jeremy's fans, just like Blindberry did during the summer after the Manila game and after the Memphis game when Jeremy was benched. And it basically still questioned Jeremy's mental toughness and mental makeup, and just, again, saying that implying that Linsanity was a fluke. So this is unfortunate timing, and we have to deal with that, and Jeremy has to deal with it. But look, and again, I'm discussing these things because they're going to come up. And so you need to know that. You need to understand it so you're prepared for what is going to be said. And one, so you don't get too concerned about it. And two, just so you can counteract the nonsensical arguments that are going to come up. Look, the chest contusion injury against Oklahoma City was a fluke. I mean, we know that. I'll give you an example. Tim Duncan suffered a chest contusion injury, I believe, early this season. It's just a fluke injury. Is Tim Duncan susceptible to chest contusion injuries? No, of course he's not. Neither is Jeremy. This injury was a fluke. Jeremy was coming over to play help defense, and Paul Millsap ran into him. It's something that happens all the time. As I mentioned in the Atlanta game video, this does happen a lot. It happens nearly every game in the NBA. Somebody gets dinged. Somebody gets kneed in the thigh. Somebody gets kneed in the knee. It just is something that takes place. So there isn't a lot Jeremy could have done about it, honestly. And it's just one of those things that happens. Just like turning an ankle happens all the time when you play basketball. The knee injury that took place in New York, my own feeling on that, I vaguely remember the time when he actually injured it. But what happened with Jeremy there was he was in a situation where he wasn't playing hardly at all. And then all of a sudden he was playing about 40 minutes a game night after night. Your body can get worn down if you're not used to that. Playing 40 minutes a night for anybody isn't easy. But if you're not used to it, then your body can get hurt a lot easier than somebody that is used to it. So this is just, there's nothing to suggest here that Jeremy's injury prone. The last two injuries that he suffered were fluke injuries. Now, I know that I was just over at JeremyLin.net and Brent Yen put up something from Coach Nick, B-Ball Breakdown. Coach Nick said something like, Jeremy's always going to be injury prone because he refuses to shoot shots in the lane that don't have contact. No. From my understanding, Coach Nick does good videos. I haven't really watched many of them myself, but that statement sounds like somebody that's not watching Rockets games. Jeremy's better about getting hit this year than he was last year. Much better. We've already talked about that. He still gets fouled, but he doesn't get hammered the way that he used to. So he's better at that. And you want to get fouls. There is an element of truth to what Coach Nick is saying there. And we've talked about that, which is learn how to shoot shots without getting contact. And he's better at that. Those are the little bank shots and runners and floaters. But if you can draw contact, you want to draw contact. That's all you have to do is look at somebody like a James Harden or something. And I know that Jeremy worked on his leg strength this last offseason so that he could handle contact better. But drawing contact isn't the issue. You want to draw contact. That's part of it. But you do want to be able to handle the contact. And that comes down to strengthening and stuff. But that's why Jeremy started doing more squats, deadlifts, apparently, etc., which is what we saw him doing, deadlifts or a version of a deadlift in the Reloaded video this past summer. So that getting your legs strong helps you deal with that, deal with getting hit and getting fouled. And as Jeremy's only now apparently just starting to do squatting and deadlifting and this type of stuff more seriously, the more he does it, the better he'll be able to deal with it. So I don't expect that to be an issue going on. And once again, the last two injuries were fluke injuries. And Jeremy's only had, excuse my voice, one injury like this per year. So knee injury in New York, which again, I think a lot of it could have been from too much too quick in terms of minutes. And Mike D'Antoni has a reputation for overplaying his players, like playing them too many minutes. So that might have happened to Jeremy, and it did happen, in my opinion. But on the other hand, it let him play. And if it wasn't for that, and Mike D'Antoni playing him so much, well, Jeremy probably wouldn't have gotten a $25 million contract. So It's not good, but it worked out better. Even though there was a negative with the injury, it worked out pretty well. The injury last year was a fluke, the chest contusion, after Jeremy played 82 games, and this injury is a fluke. So there's not much you can take from this, basically. You can't, there's nothing to assess. Now, look, you can say some guys come out of collisions like this better than others. Some guys get hit and they're okay. Well, that might be true, but you can't plan around an injury like this. If you get hit, you get hit. Hopefully your body takes it okay. But the thing for Jeremy is guys get dinged up every single year, whatever it is. This is just Paul Millsap's a pretty big dude. He smacked Jeremy at full force driving to the lane. And it happened. But there's Jeremy didn't do anything here. It's just one of those things. So the thing that concerns me the most is it's not that Jeremy's missing time, because it happens. It's hopefully Jeremy's level will be able to continue when he comes back. And what I mean by that is hopefully he won't come back and be like 70% of himself. Because then if the level dips, then the doubters will seize on that to pretend that the start was a fluke when it wasn't a fluke. So that's what concerns me. Of course, I don't want Jeremy to miss time. And hopefully he won't miss more time. In other words, hopefully it'll just be 2 weeks and then that's it. But I'm most concerned about the level that he comes back at. I went over all of the statistics for Jeremy, and the numbers are fantastic. They're great. This is why what Blindberry wrote is ridiculous. Linsanity was never sustainable, except that the numbers this year are essentially the same as Linsanity. They're just they're a modified version of Linsanity because his role is different. But the numbers, the PER is 19.0. Linsanity was 19.9. So just what Blindberry wrote, what Bill Ingram wrote recently, I talked about it also on Twitter, about Patrick Beverley's an emerging star for the Rockets, and Jeremy's kind of doing better because he's off the bench. These are nonsense arguments. They're ridiculous, and the numbers bear that out. So I just hope that Jeremy's able to come back and be at the level that he needs to be at. And look, if he needs to take a little longer to be able to do that, then I hope he does it. Now, I'm sure Jeremy's going to want to come back quicker rather than later because he knows there's all these doubters. And he doesn't want to lose his spot in the rotation because of the injury. So I'm sure he'll feel like he needs to come back quick. And I understand that. I just hope that he can come back quick and be at the level that he was at. Because we're always going through this. Linsanity was a fluke. And the level he played at the start of 2012, 2013 was his real level, which is wrong because he was hurt. So, but then the end of the season when he played really well, that was the fluke. So say doubters. And the playoff stint, that was Jeremy's real level. That's what you hear from doubters. And now you're hearing the same thing. So we just want to get to a period of time where there's enough of a sample size where this can no longer be said. We can no longer play the game of the quote-unquote fluke stretch for Jeremy. We will get there, barring any health issues. That's what I always say. As long as he's healthy, everything will work fine. We'll get there. We'll get there. This just might make it take a little bit longer. But I can assure you, Jeremy's start this year was no fluke. It was the result of hard work and steady improvement. So this gives the doubters, or it might give the doubters, a little more rope to hold on to. But again, don't pay a lot of attention to that. And I know somebody said to me, well, Paul, why'd you bring up the Fran Blindberry injury article whenever you tell people not to pay attention to it. I bring it up to stay aware of what's being said, but I don't want to get caught up in it. In other words, I'm not going to get it off my game or emotionally thrown because of what Fran Blindberry or Bill Ingram write. But that doesn't mean I'm not aware of it, so that people understand what Doubter Nation is saying. So those are two different things. I keep your eye on it, but don't get thrown by it. And honestly, don't pay too much attention to it. Don't worry about it. That's not a way to spend energy. I would not have brought that article up, except I saw it when I went to go do something else for making a video. Other than that, I would not have sought it out. I wouldn't have looked for it. Okay, that's pretty much it. Look, I will try to cover the games still while Jeremy's out. They're not going to be as fun to watch. You guys probably aren't going to care about them as much, but Jeremy's with the team. This is the team, and so we'll keep our eye on it. I probably won't be doing a bunch of quarter-by-quarter stuff now, and the videos are likely to be a lot shorter because, as you guys know, and I know it from talking with you, you're not going to be as interested in the games now because Jeremy's not playing. So I think the videos will probably reflect that. On the other hand, I hope the team will do well and to keep winning, even with Jeremy out. Not because I want them to win without Jeremy, but because I want the team to be good, because that helps Jeremy and helps his reputation if he's on a better team. So it's too bad. It's too bad this happened, but things will happen. They will happen. And I just got to roll with it. I know Jeremy looks like had a good Thanksgiving. I hope all of you guys had a good Thanksgiving that are in the United States celebrating that holiday. We appreciate all of the well wishes that were sent to us, myself and to John, on the Twitter account and in the comments of the YouTube video. And we did have a nice Thanksgiving, so we appreciate the thoughts. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. Hopefully Jeremy will just be able to rest up and heal up quickly. My guess is that, I mean, when you saw him limping off with the injury, it looked like he got dinged up pretty good, and obviously that's what happened. So hopefully he can just kind of rest up and be okay. I know a lot of you guys are saying, wow, this doesn't sound good, and he's out 2 weeks, and then they got to reevaluate it. That sounds like the New York injury. Look, a sprain isn't the same thing as a meniscus tear. A sprain is, again, that's a ligament. A meniscus tear is the cartilage, which is different than the ligament. The cartilage is kind of like a shock absorber. That's my understanding of how cartilage works in the knee and in other joints too. It's kind of like the buffer. The ligament is something that connects bone to bone. The issue with knee ligaments and why they heal slowly, to my understanding, is that the blood supply isn't that good. So it's just something where the blood helps to heal, getting the blood into where the injury is. So if the blood supply is not much, then it heals slowly. Cartilage is kind of like, the way I understand it for knees, if you hurt it, it's hurt. And it kind of doesn't heal. It's kind of a static thing. It doesn't heal by itself. But knee ligaments, if it's not a serious injury, it will heal by itself. So this isn't necessarily like the cartilage injury that Jeremy had. So it doesn't sound great. It's not great that he had the injury. But this is a grade 1 injury, which is, for a lot of injuries like this, there's 3 grades. Grade 1 is the least serious, grade 2 is middle serious, grade 3 is most serious. This is the least serious. So hopefully, number 1, the sprain will heal quickly. Number 2, if there is a knee bruise, it will heal quickly and not linger. As I told you, it was lingered with like Dwayne Wade and this type of thing. Again, Dwayne Wade still has a bone bruise was from last season. That's months and months and months and months. Hopefully that won't be like that. But we don't know. And again, not everybody might feel the same way about this in terms of Jeremy's recovery, and that's just the way it is. But overall, we've come a long way here. Jeremy has shown to people that are paying attention, even to Fran Blindberry, that he has improved significantly. And we'll get beyond this point too. It's just going to take a little bit longer, but that's what Jeremy does. He proves people wrong. So it'd be nice if it wasn't interrupted right now, but it's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. He's already gone a long way towards getting there, so to speak. Again, looking at his numbers, I was looking at Patrick's numbers and everything. He's doing very, very well. Very well. And look, his numbers came down from the Atlanta game. His points per game went from like 16.3 to 15.3. Why? Because even though he only played 4 minutes in the Atlanta game, that counts as a game. So his scoring went down from 16.3 to 15.3. So there's these little statistical games and things that go on. But the most important things are, like, as I mentioned, like the per 36 minutes and these types of things. All his numbers are good. And as I've told you guys before this year, the most important thing for him right now, overall, statistically, is assist and turnovers and that ratio. He might not get a whole bunch of assists. And you guys know doubters, he doesn't get assists anymore. And that's, first of all, it's not true. Second of all, that has to do with Harden, and it has to do with LeBron, Bieber, Parsons now becoming the distributor that he wants to try to be, apparently. So if you can't control the assist, if you might not be able to get as many assists, then work on controlling the turnovers. Because then if your turnovers are down, then your assist to turnover ratio is good, even if you don't get a bunch of assists. And your PER goes up because you have fewer turnovers. So that's what I want Jeremy to keep working on, or that's what I hope he is able to work on as he comes back. And we know that in recent games, he has worked on that. His turnovers have been low in 5 of the last 6 games or whatever it is. Good. And keep working on your defense. Jeremy played excellent defense in the Atlanta game. Excellent defense. And so his defensive rating is pretty good. It's better than it was last year. It's not incredible, but it's it's like number 21 of guards that qualify. Patrick is like number 14. So keep working to get that down. But defensive rating, you can't control. He doesn't control by himself. It has to do with how the team does when he's on the court. So he's only one person. But keep working on that. But those are the two things statistically. Keep working on the defense. Keep working on assist to turnovers. And try to solidify your three-point shooting, which has been a little bit less the last 5 games or so. But he's doing great overall. The improvement is clear. Hopefully, he'll only be out 2 weeks. And hopefully he'll be able to come back and regain the level that he was playing at before. He said he's played 15 games this year, and he's been good in 12 of them, and the other one he only played 4 minutes. So all the results are in, and they're looking real good. And it's not a fluke start or any of this stuff, even though, yes, we have to listen to this stuff. Jeremy just wants to get to a point where he can have 30 or 40 games like this, which he was clearly on course to have. And then that's it. There is no more discussion. There is no more anything. And my belief is that he will heal up. Hopefully he'll be able to get back to full speed, and then we will have that. And then that's it. There is no more discussion. And look, for Patrick, it's, again, we like Patrick. We support Patrick. Patrick's nice to Jeremy. He supports Jeremy. Patrick's a good guy. Nothing against Patrick. And it's important to say this because I know a lot of you guys, it's competition. And you know that the media and that doubters are trying to use Patrick against Jeremy, just like now they're trying to use Aaron Brooks against Jeremy. I understand that. That's why it's important to kind of step back and let's be fair to Patrick as a person, regardless of what the media or doubters want to try to do with Patrick and use him against Jeremy. Patrick's numbers are down almost all the way, except his offensive rating is up, which again I believe has to do with the team, and that's not so much about Patrick as a player. Although it's good, it shows that Patrick does well with the team, which is good, even if his individual numbers aren't as good. Patrick's PER is down. His defensive rating isn't quite as good as last year. Some of what this is and what we were concerned about, or some of what it looks like, is that it's not the same thing playing against starters as it is playing against backups. And this is some of what we discussed last year, that this could happen with Patrick. And Patrick's not a magical unicorn player, which is what I said at Clutch Fans one time. And what I mean by magical unicorn is that people get an idea that something exists even when it doesn't exist. Unicorns don't exist. And the magical unicorn is the magical creature that's going to be incredible and it's amazing, except it doesn't exist. So on Clutch Fans, I talked about Patrick as a magical unicorn to perimeter defender. He's this incredible perimeter defender that's going to save Houston's perimeter defense, except that doesn't exist. And what you guys have seen, and what more people have seen, is that because Patrick is playing more minutes now, he can't do the same things anymore. He can't be all over a guy for 40 minutes a night or 35 minutes because it takes too much energy. And you got to watch your fouls. So you can't do what he used to be able to do when he was playing 20 minutes. And this is normal. This is what we expected to happen. Not because we don't like Patrick and we want Patrick to fail, because I don't want that. And anybody that's listened to these videos knows that. But because that's reality. I've made the comparison before with Chris Anderson, the player, the Birdman who plays for Miami Heat. Chris Anderson is an energy player, which means he comes in for 20 minutes a night and he's full energy. Well, he can't play like that for 40 minutes a night because nobody can. It's a similar thing with Patrick. Patrick can hit three-point shots, spotting up, but you're seeing more of the limitations of Patrick's game, at least the current limitations. And I'm not surprised by that. And again, I'm not rooting against Patrick, but this is what you're going to see. Same with Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks isn't a particularly good defender, and Aaron Brooks is not a particularly great playmaker, but he can shoot, and he can score. And so everybody's got things they're good at and things they're not good at. Just like LeBron Bieber Parsons isn't a great assist guy and isn't a great dribbler, but there are things that he does well. So the same with Jeremy. People say the Blindberry said, oh, Jeremy's deficient defense. First of all, Jeremy's defense is better than it was. Second of all, Jeremy was a plus defender, a good defender in New York. And third, everybody has deficiencies, like Aaron Brooks' playmaking abilities and Patrick's playmaking abilities and Patrick's offensive abilities. So this is a case for everybody. There are exceptions like LeBron, but again, even LeBron has areas of his game that are better than others. The good thing for Jeremy is that overall his numbers are great. And that can't be denied, no matter what anybody says, or if anybody like Blindberry's talking about supposed deficiencies, or if anybody like Bill Ingram wants to try to highlight and pretend that Jeremy's doing well because he's coming off the bench. Well, this is all nonsense. But as we said, things are playing themselves out. You're seeing what Patrick's numbers are now compared to what they were last year. You will see the limitations of Aaron Brooks's game if he gets more time. And again, I have nothing against Patrick or Aaron. I root for both of them. But once again, it's them being used against Jeremy by doubters. So Jeremy's start has gotten notice around the league, including by doubters who are saying it's a fluke. People notice this. People see the 19 PER. They're aware of this. And as things keep going forward and Jeremy's able to continue to put up these numbers, which I am 100% confident he will continue to put up, so long as he's healthy and not at 70%, but at 100% or 95% when he comes back from this injury, then this will become less and less. It will become clear. I've never been more confident of Jeremy's consistency than I am now. This is the level of player that he is now, and it's going to get better. So, again, we will see. We will see if he comes back at 60% or 70% or whatever, and hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he'll come back and feel pretty good pretty quick. If he doesn't come back at 100%, then doubters will jump out of the woodwork to say that the start was a fluke. So just understand that. But even if he comes back not at 100%, I am confident that as he works back up to 100%, you will see these numbers again. And you will continue to see better numbers going forward because he continues to improve as a player. So, look, you could see this in April of 2013, at the end of last season, as his knee was getting better and his confidence was better. He put up the whole month was good. So you knew then, if there was any doubt about, Linsanity was a fluke, you could see that then. It was clear. But now it's even more clear. The numbers are even better. The PER is even better than it was in April 2013. So there's no question in my mind. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're in the same spot. It's frustrating. You want to be able to silence the doubters for good and not have them be able to write these silly articles or say these silly things. But, okay, we have to go through it again because of this little injury. But it's only going to make the final result, final victory sweeter. So just hang in there, stay calm, don't seek out these articles, as I said before. And look, hopefully Jeremy will heal up, feel good. Now, sometimes when you're out and you get to see the game from the sidelines, it can kind of help you learn stuff even more. This happens in different sports. Sometimes guys come back and they're even better because they've got to kind of take in things even more, see things from a different perspective. Again, Jeremy hasn't missed much time in the last last year plus. He went through the entire training camp. He's missed no games this year. He only missed 2 games or whatever it was, maybe 3 in the playoffs last year. So the last year and a half or whatever, he hasn't missed hardly any time. So this will give him a chance to kind of see things from a different perspective, and hopefully he'll be able to integrate that and progress even more, just even while he's out. And hopefully in 2 weeks he'll be ready to go, and we'll go from there. That is it for now. I hope everybody's having a great night and a great day wherever you're around the world when you watch this video. Again, I am PFE Paul Millsap, the NBA expert. Come and join us on the Conservative New Media Facebook group. Come and join us and follow us on the Conservative CNM JLin Vids Twitter account. You'll find more information about those 2 things in the video description below the video. Thumbs up, thumbs down. your comments below. It is right now 1:40 p.m. on Friday, November 29th, 2013, here in the United States on the East Coast, which means it is 2:40 a.m. on Saturday, November 30th in Taipei, Taiwan. Hang in there. Again, I know some of you guys won't be watching the games as much, or if at all, with Jeremy out, but he'll be back. Just hopefully he can spend some time with his family now, just kind of chill, heal up, enjoy the holidays a little bit. And I'm sure he'll be working on resting the knee and whatever physical therapy he has to do. And that's it. We'll go from there. And that'll be about it. So hopefully we'll see him back soon. And he can just get back to the level that he's been playing at, which is a tremendous level. And we can just kind of onwards and upwards from there. Okay, take care of yourselves. We will talk to you again soon.